channels. How we were selling meeting rooms in 2009 is either a salesperson in a hotel or venue contacts the end user, the client, they send an RFP through email, or it generates through the brand.com as an email. And when we look at the third-party channels, the same goes there. So nevertheless, where it comes to an email which is taken by a salesperson. And now when we fast forward, 10 years forward, nothing changes. That's where the industry is still today on the meeting event side. Everything is pure manually, offline generated. And one of the reasons is this is how hotels are selling on their own website. I took the brands away not to finger point at anyone, but if you look at these two web forms, these have been taken from hotel chains' website that have tens of millions of website visitors a month, which could be much more commercialized with the right tools in place. But today, you're asking the customer to do a lot of things on your website without them knowing the availability or the price. What this means is that the salesperson in the hotel goes to check their operational software, which looks amazing. This is, for example, Opera, and where they can see the function spaces that are available and the price for the customer. And then they send the offer back to the client. When we started off MeetingPackage in 2014-15, we were starting to create a marketplace that anyone could search for and book meeting rooms worldwide. But quickly we noticed that just being an additional extranet, an additional channel for the hotels, didn't actually solve the issue. Because when we look at hotel sales, there's layers inside the organization. Meaning, first priority goes to the ones that have a personal relationship with the person. I send it to person X, they can even reply at night. Second priority goes to hotel's own channels, which are the web forms, which go to a centralized email box, which are then taken 9 a.m. when the person comes to work, they check what is coming from there. And then comes the high priority third-party channels and low priority third-party channels. And between these times, there might be more than 80 hours of lead time. So if the customer doesn't reply or customer doesn't get a response in 80 hours or 24 hours, and what we found out is it actually doesn't get in less than 4 hours the response from the hotel or the venue, the conversion drops nearly 50% right away. So within 4 hours you need to react to the customer. And what is amazing for non-industry people is that this over 600 billion industry is still unconnected. Meaning nobody owns the industry, nobody has access or a little access to the inventory. There's a lot of marketplaces, there's a lot of yellow pages, city by city, country by country, but there's no dominant player who can actually give you the access to the inventory of a hotel wide. And that's what we are here to solve. So we help venues and hotels to first of all increase sales from their own channels. So enabling the fact that they can actually book meeting rooms and groups as easy as hotel rooms. And how we do that? First of all, for brands and corporates, we offer the corporate white labels through APIs or a white label approach, but also for independent, smaller properties, more as a snippet code, so they don't need to use development hours and more simplified approach for them. As well as the own sales, from the hotel's perspective, we take care of the global distribution, meaning that they can actually control the distribution strategy. We're every month connecting to 10 new channels, locally and globally, which means that the hotels have one point of contact where they need to update their content availability. Meaning, today it's done so that you go to tens of different channels, you need to teach every salesperson to understand how different channels work. Everyone has a different commercial model, and try to keep that under control. It's impossible. Which also results to outdated content online because the person Y who registered in the website Z is not anymore working in the hotel. And there's just a few examples. So CWD, Venue Directory in the UK, which is one of the biggest catalog players. So what we provide them is either through an API or white label approach to increase their ancillary revenues / giving them the possibility to get live content. Because venue directory, for example, doesn't have access to the operational software of the hotels that we do. So we provide them the live content, and the hotels one point of contact again, that through us, they get access to venue directory without being there separately. And now a little bit more technical approach, this is maybe more a little bit for the hoteliers in the room, is how to make this happen. Is first of all, you have three things in place. You have your property management software here, you have your bedroom information, etc., etc. But typically you have also an additional module, which is a sales and catering module, that caters the meeting room content and the price. And then you have your content management software where you have your pictures, content, and so forth. From here, we fetch the information direct to our cloud-based events and sales management software, where we can then distribute that content to the booking engine, the brand.com, as well as our distribution network. And now if you look at it from a customer's perspective, the customer can land in either of these channels, make the request, see the availability, see the pricing, and once they make the transaction, it flows back to their operational software, which means that the salespeople in the hotel don't need to use an extranet. They can use their Opera of the world, etc. It's a great event, and here is something that typically players who've entered the market have failed. They think that meetings and events are booked as a one-stop shop. That's not true. So if you look at meetings and events, they're booked 44 days in advance. 20 days from the initial transaction date, the biggest upsell and cross-sell and modifications to the event is happening. So if you keep the customers to believe that you're actually booking online, and after you make a transaction, ask them to call or email to do any changes, that's not online. That breaks the customer experience for the user. So you need to have a customer portal where you can interact between the customer and the hotel in real time, 2 ways, as well as still communicate back to the operational software, which means that whatever is changed, upsell, cross-sell, it's visible in the customer portal, but it's also visible in the sales and catering solution. So we're talking about 2 ways all the way. We're not even allowing 1 way because there's more harm than good in that sense. How we fit into the ecosystem is, first of all, the booking engine is the #1 priority. Fix your own operations from a hotel's perspective and then take care of distribution. There's a lot of things already, like when hotels are fighting OTAs on bedrooms and so on. So why would you want to go there on the meeting room side? First, fix your own channels, take care of that, increase that, and then open the distribution, not the other way around. And that's the main point that I've always got to hotels is there's so much potential in your own channels. There's so much volume already that you can commercialize much, much better. The booking engine that we do is we're offering as a license-free model, mainly due to the fact, again, that we don't want the hotels to pay commission from their own sales. It needs to be a software that they buy, and the more you market, the better margins you have and the better profit margins you have. And then the channel manager and GDS side are more on a transactional basis. And when we look at the bottom line, that's all about reducing costs. So is it a PMS, sales and catering? We have over 70 integrations today with different payment gateways, property management softwares, revenue management softwares, and so on, to help the hotels to actually use the tools that they have in place